People don't even realize that it is an issue. I mean, I've seen people have signs that say, his body, his choice, and people will think it's about abortion.
What was the most surprising thing you learned from doing this, or maybe the most challenging thing that you had to overcome through this whole process?
That's a good question. I feel like the most challenging thing was, in some way, other people's reactions. Because with other issues, even though there are huge challenges on them, people are aware of those challenges. So if I was to talk about most of the other issues that are playing even at this film festival, you'd have some reference of like, oh yeah, that is a problem. You know, if I talk about the criminal justice system, or how we treat people in prisons, or racial issues, or climate change, or things like that, there's like some reference point. But with this, I mean, there's people who look at it like, I don't even know what that's doing on the schedule. Like, what is this here? And so people don't even realize that it is an issue. I mean, I've seen, you know, people have signs that say, his body, his choice, and people will think it's about abortion, because they don't even realize that men have bodies and choices that they might want to make about them. That's like not even on people's radar. So I think that's the hardest thing. And then I think the other difficult challenge was, you know, I've heard some people ask me like, oh, how are you able to, you know, even be in the room with those people who we disagree with? And I feel like the challenging thing is that they're human and they're not the villains or monsters that people might make them out to be. There's something very normal and everyday about them, and so you don't have the option of saying, well, obvious, you know, like that was the other challenge is perhaps seeing very specifically the institutions that are still continuing this, and then realizing how much of what they do comes from the fact that they just don't know. I mean, even Andrew Freeman, who's in the film, he's one of the authors of the most recent 2012 paper. I don't think he's even, like, he doesn't have any social media, he doesn't even have a Facebook. He spends most of his life between the medical place where he works and like a couple mile drive through a Jewish neighborhood. And he just doesn't even know how large this movement is, or how people feel about it, or how they're hurt by it. And so, and I think that many of the people who've been exposed to it, they have that moment of choice where they can go, okay, well, either I feel what this means and everything that comes with that, and what that might mean about me and what I've done, or I can just deny it, and then I don't have to feel that. And so that's the trickiest thing. I feel like the conflict in the film is not so much between one side and another, but people who are willing to feel and people who aren't.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, say a huge thank you to Brent.